Hello, Trade the Pool. Hello, world. I'm here with Steve. We are here for the last, it's technically the first week of 2025. It is the second to last day of the year. And so we're going to take a look at that. We are filling in for Mitch today. Mitch had a little bit of a plumbing issue in his home, so he's bailing out his kitchen and other other rooms apparently. So we're gonna fill in, see how it goes, and take a look at the market. So we're looking forward to it.
Google wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
All right, what is up, traders? I hope everybody had a great holiday and is ready for the action because we are cooking pre-market already. Yeah, it is going to be an exciting day. We have some spicy pre-market action flushing out multiple levels, so we are going to get into all of that. Tim, I don't know if there's any curriculum today, but I was thinking that we could build a quick SPY chart before open, or at least I will. I know you probably got a jet in a sec here.
No, I would actually love to hang out today, but I'm actually having to work hard to keep from coughing. Whatever this bug is still. I'd love to figure out a trading plan for that. How can we trade this and the avian flu? It's apparently sweeping the nation. But
on that.
Yeah, so I'll probably have to hang out. But yeah, it looks interesting. I have a SPX or XSP put from Friday that is actually up over the weekend. So that was a real drop.
You were prophetic. I think I gave you a hard time for that too. Like, why are you fading Santa rally? But here we are, down big pre-market.
And almost made up almost made up a small portion of the losses trying to fade it leading into that, so
as it so often goes. Very understandable.
Anyway. But yeah, no, I haven't actually looked too much in detail. I'm actually just about to put that the sectors poll game on our Discord for everybody. So that'll be my chance to glance over and actually sort of digest what happened last week and take a look at the outlook. So yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. We may have Joe's behind the scenes producing here. He may pop in a little bit later, but we'll see how he's feeling there. And I'll go ahead and hop off and turn that over to you.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Yep. Oh, and how do you want the chart here? Do you want to be I can do like this.
Yeah, that works.
Have you down in the corner there? All right, perfect.
I figure less of my face is probably better. I have a face for radio, so let's keep it to my voice here primarily. And I think everybody will be happy.
No, everybody loves you. So, all right, cool. And thanks for hopping in on short notice. So
yeah, happy to. Esteemed audience, I am. It's been a little bit of a while since I've hosted a stream, so bear with me here. I will be trying to be mindful of chat here. Good morning, future billionaire. Always good to see you. But we're testing some stuff out. We're in the arena. We're trying things. It'll be fun, right? So what I wanted to talk about before we get too busy here, I'm just going to reset my SPY chart here so we can do this together. What I am seeing, get this out of the way too. There we go. So what I'm seeing is a pretty big head and shoulders forming here. Pretty textbook in my opinion. It's something that I almost thought was a little bit too on the nose, and I didn't think it would play out because so often those bullish pattern or bearish patterns, when they don't play out, you get some crazy rips off of them. We actually saw that not too long ago on SPY, where we had a similar head and shoulders setting up that just didn't play out. This kind of little action here couldn't break the neckline, and it just never really happened. We saw another kind of attempt here, and so I mean, it is SPY, right? It's going up eventually. So for me, it's kind of a matter of how far do we think this move is going to extend, And is it worth catching it at this point? And then where do we go from there? How do we best play the move up? So for me right now, I'm thinking that there's a pretty high potential that we come back and revisit this low here, 580, let's call it, right around there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. We have a pretty interesting volume profile here on the left side. It seems to have rejected all of the volume up at these nodes here and been on a pretty consistent move down. Based on this, I'm thinking that we're visiting the second low here. Where is it? When it adjusts, yeah, there should be a node right here from all of this action trading here, as well as this low. And then it was retested here, undercut it. I think that we are going lower. My guess would be, honestly, that the target would be somewhere down here, these equal lows. And that would be at 568, but that would be a pretty fast sell-off. So this is where I'd kind of start building in with, or looking in, with ATR to see how far we would be looking to extend. So I'm gonna pop that on real quick. Oops, wrong one. And yeah, I love these ATR type instruments because they basically give you the range, the average range of any trading stock for a day. And then you can kind of extrapolate from that. Like if you think it's going to be a really in particular bullish day, then you can look for the extension targets, and Camarilla pivots are another tool for that. Just checking time there. Let's see what we got. So we kind of just blew through the morning targets here. If we did go as low as I would think, where would we be? %2.3% move there. That'd be pretty egregious for one day. So I'm thinking that probably could see something like a little flush of this low and then a back test of some of these kind of moving averages, which are going to start coming and rolling down like that. So for me personally, you could, if you're fast, you could scalp the move down here, because that still is a pretty decent move from pre-market. We are at 587. Let's skip to here real quick, get a little look at the short time frame. I would like to see a little pop at open on the opening volume. Maybe we could retest like a 50% pullback of this morning range. And yeah, if we could get maybe 590 to 591, that'd be an area I'd be looking to basically catch a short. And then we could ride that down to our target here for a nice move. That's one trade I'm going to be looking for today. Another one is not so much today, but going into the rest of the week. I would like to watch this low here and see what happens. If it takes it and then really sharply starts responding to there, basically saying, okay, this is the target, we've arrived, we've picked up the passengers, now the train is on to the next station, so to speak. If that does happen, I'll be looking for a long, and we can talk about what we'll be looking for right there, because I will be on tomorrow as well. So that'll be good to see how that plays out. Yeah, we got 15 minutes or so here before cash session. So I'm just going to walk through my process here of marking this chart up just a little bit to kind of prepare for the day here. I went completely flat and just, just deleted all my lines here, because I thought it would be a good little experience or teaching moment, as well as just to kind of refresh my bias. Because oftentimes, we get so hung up in our own lines that it's very easy to kind of get lost in the sauce, so to speak. So it helps me kind of just refresh every once in a while. We had this little flag forming out, little bear flag that did break pre-market here. That's another way we could look at a pullback. It might come up and back test this structure here. That's something to consider for sure. In general, though, man, I'm really just my mind gets directed at these arch type patterns here. And sorry, I'll check that chat in a second. I got to fix my layout. It's all the way in the corner here. But yeah, I'm still pretty bearish here. I think that we want to swipe this out what I would be looking at is, if we are looking bullish, is I would be looking for a reclaim of this volume profile shelf here. So we can kind of mark that out. Let's use one of these. Looks like it's right about there, maybe a little lower. So that's kind of the general zone of make or break for me. You know, if it's going to be bullish, then what it'll look like is a powerful reclaim on volume and a back test. And then you'd probably want to be looking for along there, if you are thinking that this is just a fake out and we're going to retain this pattern. Even if we end up bearish overall, we could maybe see a mitigation block, as they're called, which is when you have a big drop and then anybody who was trapped up here wants to get out. So anybody long up there, if they get their chance right here, they've mitigated their losses, and then price is kind of free to release and do whatever what it was going to do anyway. So if that is the case, we might see pinging here, then rejection maybe to the 50%. And this structure could still hold. It could be a big move that sweeps up here, and we could still end up resolving down. I just am starting to feel like the faster we get resolution to the downside on this hourly head and shoulders, the more likelihood that we could have a quick pattern break, and then we could retain the bullish streak and the bullish seasonality. I personally, I just feel like we are going to be bullish through mid-January, but it's something I'm going to watch for. You know, it is kind of throwing a wrench in my plans when you're seeing bearish formations this late like this. Like, it's got to play out fast. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. In general, in terms of levels, if this level doesn't hold, this neckline, if this does actually play out, then we're looking at a pretty simple measured move to this 565-ish area, maybe 568, somewhere in that zone. Mark something like that as our target. So that's kind of my general bias here. We have 15 minutes. I'm going to check chat real quick, and then we can go around the horn, see anything cracking this morning. Let's see, Paul, if you're having some technical issues with the account setup, you can check in with the Discord. They are real helpful over there, and they can set you up. It's a little out of my domain of understanding, so I definitely direct you over there. Nice. We got some stocks here. Let me pull over here. We have VNet, Oxy, Rumble, Mara. We have BA, Tesla. Okay, let's see. Let's check it out. I love it. We got 15 minutes, so let's burn through some stocks that we're looking at and see what there is to see. I've got a little list of my own too, but I want to see what you guys are trading. Is that Tim popping on? We'll see. So Oxy here.
Trying badly to do producer things in the background, so carry on.
Do your thing. Sorry to draw attention. So we have Oxy here. It has been sliding for quite a while. Oil stocks. I was looking at my watch list this morning, and they were just about the only thing green. That's a little worrying. I didn't have a chance to check on, see if there's any kind of breaking geopolitical news in the Middle East. It seems like there's always something, hopefully not anything serious. But when oil or low beta or negative beta stocks are trading up, I'm sitting here looking at, what is this, Sting? This is just about the last thing you want to see green if you're a tech bull, for example. This is tankers. So oil is moving up, and that's kind of a red flag here. We can also look at VIX real quick and see that it kind of came back, retested this base, and is pushing. So we got to watch and see what it does up at these kind of mid-range levels here. And hopefully this is a rejection, but you know, I won't spend too much time on TA on VIX, because some people will have my head for that. Let's start going through this list. We got Rumble. Wow, power move here. In the past couple days, it is clearly breaking out of the stage 1 base. This base here, that's impressive. Let's see, for targets, it just dinged this one and rejected pretty hard there. So what we can kind of gauge from that is that there were a lot of people who are waiting to sell that got caught up in this area. And I mean, man, if this isn't a testament to patient investors, right? If you get caught with your pants down, I'm not saying it's good advice all the time, but so often you can just hold and mitigate your losses eventually. So this is another really good example of a mitigation block. All of these guys who got trapped here, they just got bailed out. So that's why we are seeing a pullback here. I wouldn't worry too much yet. It looks like it could very possibly just be starting a flag. So we could see something like that start to form out. And one thing you can do with these big parabolic extensions like this is you can look for a reasonable backtest area. This 12 area is definitely possible. But wow, I'm just looking at the extension line. We're trading at 17 and the halfway mark is 12. So this is quite a parabolic move. Very scary to buy. If you were interested in buying, then you would be looking for I'm trying to find a shorter range pivot. It looks like something around, yeah, okay, we got a volume profile here. You'd be looking for a back test of maybe this 1350, and you'd want to see the 13 hold for sure, that 1280, 13 area. You really don't want to see him losing this, or it's probably going to retrace pretty deep. Often these parabolic moves have to retrace to that golden pocket here. That's an area of, if it's a stock that overshoots, often it'll overshoot the 50% retrace too, and have to dig deeper. So that's something to consider. Man, could we see just a straight shot pop for these equal highs? That is possible. And if so, then I would like to see extension to the next one right here, which it does seem like it wants to get at some point. This is not a hard rejection after a major parabolic move, which shows me that it definitely could be continuing. Honestly, parabolic traders are not, like, these are hard for me to gauge because they just keep going sometimes. So it's very possible we see 1850 here, honestly. So that's something to consider too. Watch that 15 level is what I'd say. If we can reclaim the 15 on volume, then we could be cooking. Go back to Oxy real quick. Clear my old lines. See what we see. Man, that's pretty clean, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an old rule in trading. I forget what it is. I think Zen Trader, the Zen of Trading, something like that. It's a really good book. I'll pull it up later. But 3 times is the rule, 4 times is a gift. So when you have a major level like this, I prefer horizontal levels, but downtrend levels work too. When you have 1, 2, 3 touches, very often it'll go through on the 3rd touch. When you get a 4th touch and it's looking good, setting up in that 4th touch through a line, I think the hit rate goes up quite significantly. I don't have exact numbers, but it feels like, I don't know, I'm going to call it a 20% increase, something like that. Anyways, this is a heck of a falling wedge here. When I'm looking at these, like, is the pain over? Often I'll pull back to a higher time frame and I'll start looking for major fib extensions here. So it's getting pretty close to this 50. We could also look at the previous range here, and it's probably, yep, perfectly tagging the 50. So this is kind of how I'd frame this trade. We had this big range. It's trading up in this range. The range broke through completely. It set a new range. It came up. It could not overcome this area of previous sell-off. So it had to reset, essentially. All of this basing for, man, a long time, a couple of years, has just broken through. And now we are basically back at equilibrium. And we are seeing if, where we're basically back testing the legitimacy of this rip right here. And so if it can hold here, which it is starting to do, then this is definitely something you can have on your watch list for like kind of an intermediate term swing, maybe like 3 weeks to a month or two. These can be slow movers because they can chop and muddle around down here at the mid. And it's really hard to trade mid ranges often. But if you get the break of this wedge, then maybe you could play a back test. That's one way I'd be looking at it. Just for today, though, let's see what's going on. Strong pre-market. We can get some levels for the day traders here to go for. These previous highs look very juicy to sweep up here and then kind of back test off of. Could also be looking for this kind of relative equal highs here. So there's kind of a cluster of areas here. And what we're looking for is basically this volume profile to get pushed off of. Then you'll get a nice clean move up to this 50 here, 50-50. Something like that. Interesting look there. So, you know, we gotta be a little bit bearish when we have these many risk off charts setting up. So what else we got? Maris of Bitcoin been sliding on down there. Check the daily. It is under the 200 day. nothing good happens under the 200 day, as my daddy always said. In general, you're going to want to see a pretty strong reaction pretty soon after the 200. Like you'd be looking for something like this, where it can undercut it. It can close a day or two under it, but then it's pretty immediate that there are buyers here, and that's what we want to see. Otherwise, you can get a situation like this one here, where it closes under it. There are no real buyers on the second day, and then it's just choppy, messy here. It's not going to reclaim for quite a while. So honestly, it's a little bit sketchy here. I think Bitcoin is probably taking a header down to 90K, something like that, 92. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to be your guide. Whenever Bitcoin is falling, you could definitely consider shorting. Like when it's starting to kind of dump, you can definitely consider shorting the miners, because often they will be overinflated. They're kind of like the torque for the sector. So if you anticipate a big change, happening shortly with Bitcoin, then often you can capture the best move, the best percentage move on shares with these miners, especially the leaders like IRBN. Also looking a little bit sketchy. CORZ, this is kind of the blue chip miner. Even that's looking pretty sus, but could definitely be a flag pattern there. Anyways, yeah, it's just kind of adding to this bearish confluence of overall in the market here, where, man, we are kind of at a precipice with Bitcoin. It is really testing some old line. Don't you love it when old lines do things? Okay, look at that. So, man, I wonder if I could see when I drew this line. I'm very curious now. Oh, well. Anyways, this is a level that I'm very interested in seeing a backtest happen. And this move has been so clean that I think it just needs to reset, and it's probably still going to keep going, to be completely honest. But in terms of shorter term here, this is kind of sketchy. I think that it wants to undercut, then try to power through again, something like that. So it's something I'm keeping an eye on, this big level. Let's see what else we got. Apple short. Man, it won't die. That's so crazy. I would love to see, let's see, pre-market 5, or we got pre-market. All right, so for day traders, this is looking like a really nice target here. Got multiple lows that would love to be swept here. And it looks like it's losing the equilibrium of this range here. So this is something I would consider if it comes up and maybe rejects. Where is our volume shelf? 253.50, then that could be a good short entry. I'm kind of trying to look and see what stocks are going to be not too far gone if we're looking to kind of chase a short down. And we are getting close to market open here, guys. Let's get ready and take a look at the short term on SPY. We are seeing some volume come in here. It's trying to bottom, so we're going to mark this out as an area of interest, the low pre-market here. It seems like it's trying to flag and hold. Seems like we could definitely try to go and tag this 200 moving average and kind of reconfirm this downtrend. So that's definitely an area I would be looking. If you got faster fingers than me, you could definitely be looking for a pop if this area holds for the first 5 minutes or so. We would not want to see this get blown out. But this seems like it's going to try to base and try to pop here. So you could look for a trade at the very least to this little shelf here, which is still a few bucks for the scalpers out there. Like, that's a decent move. I think the real trade of the day, though, if I'm reading it right, which is, definitely grain of salt there. But I think the trade of the day will be taking a short off there and looking for these levels, 582 to 580. It might take a day or two. I am a short-dated swing or shorter-term swing trader primarily, so that's kind of where my head is at. But let's bang through a few more of these in the chat here before market opens, real quick. And then we'll keep flashing back and forth as we go throughout the day here. MU, what you doing, baby? I love this company, but man, it has been a tough one to trade since the parabolic move. Relative equal lows here did get swept this morning. Not this morning, but it's a week or so ago. I don't know, man. It's heavy. It's tough. On a longer term perspective, I do think that we're basically seeing, I know I'm a broken record, but 50% back test. It's negotiating the middle of this range. It's negotiating back into previous support here. And ideally, it's going to catch and put in a double kind of bottom, like this kind of one bottom, two bottom, and then boost through the mid here. And at least up here, maybe it ends up doing some crazy flag or something. But I think that there's a lot of reasons to be buying and looking to buy here. Semis in general are underweight. And I think they're setting up. Like that's a bull flag in my book. So we have open here in just a minute. Going to get you guys some more visuals to work with here. We're going to have SPY. We're going to have Qs up. I'm going to be flipping to book map as needed. We're going to try to get a read on this market. All right.
Hey, and just a quick note, I don't know if you saw, but it looks like Mitch did manage to swim over and make us a sunrise report today. So if you want to pull that up, we can also go through that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see.
I shot that to you in the back channel, but that is so that is in the trade watch list channel pretty much every morning in our Discord. And then we usually forward it over to Market Discuss for general discussion as well. You know what? I'm going to forward it over to.
All right, we are off to the races here.
And in Trade Chatter, we have all our kind of really active, like, I'm buying. Come on, let's go.
Oh man,
some people won't do that. Some people go nuts if they're getting all the noise. So we try to have something for everybody. Anyway, were you able to find that?
Let's see. Sorry, I was getting caught up in the festivities here. We have relative strength on Qs. Money is going into tech from our relative strength stuff. I'm talking as I look for this. Apologies. I'm sorry. Which channel did you say again?
You can just go in trade watch trade watch list has just people's watch lists, including ours, or Market Discuss has that plus a little bit of other.
I see Discord. I'm in the wrong platform here.
Yeah. Oh, I'll paste it in the other, or do you have it in?
All right. SPY is testing our pre-market level at held for now. Q's relative strength, they are over pre-market lows. We're going to keep an eye on that, see if that trend continues or if it's just some morning reshuffling. And bear with me.
Everybody's giving their holiday greetings here.
Yeah, Tim, I'm liking what I'm seeing on indices here. That's promising that the SPY did not give up that low. We're going to let this cook for a few minutes, but starting to consider this pop up into this area is starting to want to materialize. Still obviously very early. Maybe we can flush and retake it strongly.
All right. Sorry about that. Anyway.
Tim, I'm sorry. Where am I looking here?
So the Trade the Pool Discord, and then you can go in just Trade Watch List has just watch lists, or Market Discuss has watch lists plus some general discussion there. It's mostly just comments on airliner manufacturers. So I guess our pitch with Thomas, I don't know if he's watching the stream, but apparently he's a pilot as well. So he might be able to give some insight on that.
Yeah, weigh in. Let us know how screwed they are. I did manage to navigate there. I was doing it in the classic. I had to expand the trading rooms on the side. So what we are seeing on SPY, we held the lines for now. It's trying to hold this this bullish microstructure, still rejecting the midpoint there, but there are buyers. I would like to see this kind of play out constructively. I would not be longing unless we break above the pre-market. And even then, it's a little bit early for me personally. But, everybody's got their system, and some people love trading this early stuff. And I respect the hell out of that because it scares me sometimes. But
we do have a question here. And you can show these on screen if you want, or not if you don't want. But
I do want to. I'm I am a grandma here. I'm doing my best to
if you hover over the comment, you can click show. So
okay, let's try this out.
I'm realizing the various walkthroughs that I did, I failed to anticipate. We sort of threw this all together, but yeah, you can just click show on a comment or hide on it, and it'll pop it up on the screen. So
I'm actually not seeing that, but we'll talk about it later.
Oh,
we got some action here. Pre-market low is breaking on SPY. Taking a look at Apple here is somebody here mentioned it does look like a good potential gap move. It's a little bit higher than a lot of these, so you got some meat on the bone. If it goes down, then the market will follow. It's been holding the market up quite well up until this week, so it's something to keep an eye on the leader here. Let's walk through the sectors really quick. It is a whole lot of red. Leading the charge down is technology, communications. We have energy and staples and utilities, all the things you don't want to see leading the pack, so to speak. So definitely bearish, textbook bearish day so far. So let's see if we can get this undercut and move here on SPY. Q is just ugly so far, at least. Let's bring up Q's just a little bit. Zoom back. What are we doing? We're renegotiating this zoom up area here, where most of the shares only moved one way, so to speak. There was a whole lot of buying and not a lot of selling outside of market makers, right? So now they're bringing it back in here, and we're going to see if there's going to be a response off of this zone here. Most likely, it probably needs to push down lower. It could hold this level here, this 1 hour order block, or what's it called? A fair value gap. So yeah, let's zoom back on in. We have some bottom wicks showing at a pretty key level here. We're going to watch this here. And what else do we got cooking? Somebody's watching Disney for a potential move down. That one's looking weak. I have a big multi-month support at 110 here, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. If it loses this, it definitely could have some major room on down. Could be seeing like a 3 to 5% move there if this 110 handle gets lost. Something to consider. What else we got? Let's see. Palantir. Little yeehaw up. Definitely just a naturally strong stock still. Crazy that it's trading a 76 handle. Man, if there was any Palantir bulls last week or last year, they are high on the hog, and everybody sadly didn't follow. One of the best movers in the market. I think that we have a lot of potential for Hood to do something similar. That's one of my most bullish stocks for the next year. I think it has potential to have a very similar setup where it could just zoom up to like 80, 85, something similar to that. Keeping an eye on that for sure. We are seeing relative strength in Palantir for sure. It does not want to give up an inch. Came back to the open and said, we are still buying, baby. We are still here. Look at that. So let's see if we're getting that follow through in the index at large. Not much cooking on Q, so a lot of relative strength in Palantir. That's a nice one there. We have AMD. This is on my bullish list too. It's not so bullish this morning, but I'm thinking a longer term on this one. I don't know about you guys, but I think this 120 to 125 level, pretty deep cushion support, especially on the longer dated charts. And there's decent potential if money comes back into semis. They are still underweight, I believe. They were last time I checked institutionally. So there's a lot of potential for that to kind of reclaim market share. Basically, it's never going to be NVIDIA. We know it's not NVIDIA, but it's probably undervalued here, since another aspect at play here is tax loss selling and the positioning into the end of the year, right? If you have something that's red on the year going into November and December, like there's not really much incentive to rebuy it until the next year. Often you literally can't rebuy it because you just booked a loss in it. Or I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why these trends will kind of you have to go into next year to kind of see where the dust is going to settle on these. And often that's when you'll get the push. There's another beatdown sector in emerging markets in general, that's specifically China, looking for something similar there. Basically, people to just finish selling for the year and then look bullish in the next year, when we can kind of start seeing a response to all of the all of the relatively bullish headlines we've been seeing regarding QE, potential QE, that kind of thing. As I'm rambling,
and I'll risk going into another coughing fit again real quickly before I drop, because this actually touches on one of the kind of theories or things that are interesting to me. So there's sort of a rumor that seems to go around, or a perception, that because the trades, it used to be T+2, right? Now it's T+1 settlement for equities. Obviously that doesn't impact people trading on Trade the Pool. You don't have to worry about that, but it does sometimes come into the market dynamics, for example, dividends and stuff. Anyway, when it comes to tax loss harvesting, there is a perception that the settlement day matters. So people think that maybe Friday, if it was T+2, or today with T+1 would be the last day, so that it would settle before the end of the year. Now, when I looked it up, it seemed pretty clear cut that it was the trade date that mattered. But so you might get, it's interesting to see whether there'll be a final burst of selling, today or tomorrow, whether people will start. I think people are going to try front running the end of the year. Right. But it's going to be, I think, comparing today and tomorrow and comparing that to last year will be very interesting with T+1 versus T+2. I'm very curious to see how that plays out.
Interesting. Yeah. I know the T+1 to T+2, that change has impacted my degenerate trading quite heavily. I really appreciate that extra window. So I'm sure the big boy degenerates, they also have, it wouldn't be surprising if they have also kind of adapted their strategy. Yep. So on
and speaking of adapting, I am going to drop off here. Yeah, looks like you're on a roll there. We do have the pre-market movers if we want to talk about those. And Joe said Joe can help produce it, so he'll bring some of the comments on the stream for you. And yeah, Joe, if you want to pop your mic and cam back on, I'll dip out and hand it over. So Joe is our mindset channel host. And so he's always posting, good thoughts for the day. He helps host these discussions. And I believe this is a mindset week. So we should be talking at the end of, let me see. No, this is a thought. I don't know where that discussion went. But we should have a discussion session on Friday. We're just looking at talking about, kind of a mindset for the new year. Joe, it looks like your camera is dead.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Howdy, Joe.
How's it going, Steve?
Hey, going good. Thanks for your help.
Absolutely. Any camera there? Coming up?
No, not yet. No.
I think it's because maybe it's limited to just two videos at the moment. Would that be right?
Let me try.
Huh.
How's that?
Nope. Oh. You did start cam on the bottom, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right, we'll go ahead and we'll both mute on the stream here, and we'll talk on the other.
Cool. I will run through my blood red watch list. You seeing this, guys? Not a single speck of green. That is impressive. Oh wait, Rig, my boy Rig. All right, so if you're in Ocean Drillers, you're feeling okay. You're sitting pretty today, but otherwise you're hurt. So it's not all days are going to be good. It's going to be a rough one if you're heavily invested. Probably not the end of the world. Probably just some aspect of mechanical stuff going on here. I am still keeping an eye here. We could get a just blood red breakdown here on Qs, and you could play the breakout. Or the breakdown, I should say, if we get volume through these lows. It's looking like this is a pretty valid short here. Apple's looking like a good short if it's losing these lows here. The only thing I'm a little sus of is just it's a little early, and often they will kind of yeehaw people in the first half hour of cash session. My bias was up first, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to jump in the short here, but it's not looking great. I would need the leaders like Apple to hold pretty strong here, which is trying, but it's a little sketchy. You got almost 3 5-minute bars here to look at now. And these are not inspiring confidence. Trying to put in a low and then sweeping that's not great. Let's see, on SPY is probably going to be the same, but weaker. Yeah, stinky. I think we're going down to this 580 handle pretty quick here. It looks like on SPY that was leading the way down. It broke our pre-market here, and that would have been a valid short if I had seen it. Q is a little stronger, so you could play that as the laggard trade. You would be in right now on the breakthrough there. And for Qs, I would probably be looking for the 510 handle. It could go down as deep as 505, I guess, something around there. It's kind of the area I'd be looking for. We are already past ATRs, so important to not get too greedy, but this does seem like it's a blood red. Just beat them on down days so far. We're going to keep an eye on all of the leaders here. Let's actually cycle through them. So we did Apple. Let's check out Meta real quick. Trying to post a bottom wick, but not anything too encouraging yet. Let's look at Netflix. Upsies, downsies, into support. We'll watch that, but it's also not looking too strong yet. What are chips doing, baby? Chips having trouble. Broadcom about to lose this low here. Could dip into under 230 if it can't hold. Back to Qs. What we got? Nothing. All right. What else do we need to check out? Microsoft, see that. Trying to post a double bottom. It's held this morning low, a little bit of relative strength there. What are we about cooking with Tesla? Big relative strength, still holding the opening level, similar to Palantir. Although even Palantir starting to get a little weak, something to look at. We have our first attempted buy candle on Qs. Volume came in there and instantly got smoked down. That's not good if you are a bull. Not good if you are a bull. A back tester here. We want to see this hold, and it doesn't look like it wants to. Let's give the bears or the bulls a chance here. See, got to give them a chance. Well, right now, what are we seeing? Every time it comes back into support or into the mid range, it's gotten bopped down. So to be bullish here, I would need to see this zone here, this 515, essentially flip on Qs. Till it does, I think that it's just going to keep on reloading shorts every time it pops up here. So that's my bias. If I'm in this trade as a scalp, which would be my soft stop here at 515, I'd be looking for a candle close and 1 minute candle follow through that for a scalp. That's just my personal system. Everybody's got a different one. Let's take a look at some of these other names from the chat here. Yeah, waiting for Mara to confirm. Let's check it out. Said 1480. Whoop. Okay, so you're looking for a pretty good smoke show down there. Let's zoom out and see where we're looking. I have monthly support at 1739. That is an area that I would like to see get smoked through if we're looking for a short continuation play there. On the daily, let's clear this up. On the daily, what we got a gap. This too, make it nice and clear. We got a gap that needs filling. So this is a nice target for a short. Man, this chart is sketchy. Gap down through this bear flag. Oh man, yeah, this has got some room here. If it closes the daily candle under this level, the 1771, then I think that this is a really nice swing short. I'd be taking profit on the gap fill here and seeing what happens. But we got a lot of staggered stops down here, right there, right there, right there, all the way down here. A lot of targets. So I like it looking like this. I like this kind of look if you're looking short. There's a lot of places where I would like to come down and basically rob people, just shake the money tree, just take their shares. You know, if you're long here and you catch a crazy move, you're like, man, I'm up 56% in a couple of days. Obviously, you should be locking in a lot of that. And, you know, that locking in is why we get these wick ups here and the sell-off. But if it comes back, they're just saying, hey, you got me. I'm not losing money on this. I'll get back in when it's time. But, you know, you'll often see responses off these levels. You'll often see push downs through multiple levels here. So that's something to consider. It looks like it's confirming on two different
we talked about, we were
accents.
chatting about this weekend, actually, like on just crypto and crypto itself, especially, like you'll get it's interesting because with crypto, it's very level based, so it'll respect levels, but often once it surpasses one, like the liquidation wicks are just crazy.
Yeah,
And then
a lot of
Mara
ownership.
being traded on equities markets with that kind of setting, right, is a little different. But then with miners in general, right, it's just like your gold miners, right? Like it acts a little bit as a derivative of gold. It's more forward looking than the asset itself. So you got kind of that interplay. It's interesting. But yeah, we were able to figure that little issue out. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute, or I'll let Joe unmute himself there on the StreamYard, and he can
there, guys.
In. Hey, so I will go ahead and leave you two to chat. Thanks again for jumping in on short notice. And I wish I could hang out. It's already I'm seeing an interesting just divergence. I see Nvidia pushing. It's back to just ripping, and ARM looks like a nice double bottom. TSM also. So meanwhile, Target, for example, Walmart maybe an undercut and reclaim. Dollar Tree pushing. I don't know. It looks like an interesting day, but the second I start talking, it just starts coughing. So I don't want to inflict that on you guys. So I'll leave you to discuss it with all of our eager viewers. And yeah, thanks again, everybody, and have a good show.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Great commentary too, Steve, on the large caps in the market and everything. I'm mostly small caps, so I'm doing a lot of listening to you. So
right on. Well, then it's we're going to be a good team here, because I'm scared of the small caps, man. I want to trade them more, but they're spicy. I'm a little bored.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You gotta really watch. I mean, with the small caps, you got to be watching where the money's flowing. Because you can see one stock will be running, another one failing, and if they're the two hot stocks on the day or multiple hot stocks, you can see that money just flow from one stock to the other, and you can get caught. And if you're not selling into those resistance areas, covering or buying at support, you can be in trouble quick.
Trust me, Joe, I know.
Yeah,
that's one thing I do know. You're in trouble if you hold the bag. It's well, really quick, let me just mention, we are seeing a nice little power candle on Tuesday. So that, to me, this is an area that I really want to watch, this 515 area, to see if it could reclaim. My thesis would be on the 5-minute chart. We're just dipping back into an area where I would like to short if I was bearish on the day, and just thinking we were going to just trend down. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I could very well be wrong, and if so, it would look something like this at the start, and then we'd see a power through here, a flip off of the 515, and this would start to look like a bottom formation, where we went down once, fake breakdown below that, and like I was mentioning earlier, just failed bearish patterns are often very bullish. There's a lot of juice once the bears give up, and everybody likes to see the good guys win. So market goes up, that's what we want to see, but let's not get too hasty is all I would preach here. But Joe, it was really interesting hearing you, and I've definitely heard that before, hearing about the cyclicality of the small cap kind of meta for any given day. And I just think it's cool that even on the big cap side, we see the same thing to some degree, where it'll be like, okay, let's look down the top 10 list and see where the money's going. If we're going to be pumping today, which of the mega caps is going to do it? Then you'll see maybe Tesla volume die off, and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of money coming into Microsoft or whatever else. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not as immediate, or I guess meaningful, when the market caps are so much larger. But it's interesting to see these similar kind of ways that market makers and just participants in general are extracting money from a market and getting it to do what they want. It's always more to learn.
Yeah, always more.
I think if there's any trading day where I don't get humbled pretty heavily, then I'm on red alert the next day, because it's coming,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always I've got sticky notes right in front of me, and the one that's always right there is assume you are wrong always.
I love it.
And
That's the tough part, I mean, everybody thinks they're right when they get into the trade, or we wouldn't get in. But
yeah, that mindset can really, get to you if you're, you just got to be, you gotta have your plan. You have to stick to your plan on the trade and, play the probability of,
Right.
of your plan. And that's when you can feel comfortable and, feel like you're succeeding, even if you're right on the day. If you've been disciplined, if you've followed your plan, you can feel better about what you did,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
not those days where a tilt, you get a, go on tilt and, and, something messes up, maybe messing up the orders or, just some little glitch type thing. And then, sometimes it's better to, take a 30-minute, 60-minute break and
Oh
go
yeah.
walk around the house.
In my earlier days of streaming, I was known to have a 10-second mini tantrums where I because you feel the anger coming. You're like, all right, this is not the way to handle it. I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna get me some water. I'm gonna take a lap, and it does wonders. You're right. There's really so much to be said about. I feel like catching yourself in that moment of. I think I was talking about this with Mitch last week. I don't know if this resonates with you, Joe, but so often when I'm having a bad trading day, there will be a point in time where I could pinpoint in retrospect where I'm getting emotional because the market isn't listening. It isn't doing what I want it to do. And, it's never a mindset you want to get in, but, it's the faster I can catch that, the faster I can kind of save the slide, so to speak.
Yep.
But,
Yep, absolutely. That, it's yeah, I'd say that's pretty common to be able to, even with myself, to go back and think on some of my bad days where, I knew I could have stopped at a certain point and I should have stopped there and I would have been happy stopping there too. Instead, I continued to stay in the casino, try to continue to trade, try to continue to push. And, quite often if you're down red and you're just trying to make back, it's not a good place to be in. Number one, sometimes you never make it. Number two, sometimes you double your loss and make the day that much worse. And so, playing that catch up is something that it would be great to be able to have, like, I don't know, some kind of buzzer that went off that said, "Hey, listen, bro, time to stop." Time to stop. You can be done today. You can come back. The market's still here tomorrow. It's not going anywhere, and be able to come back better the next day.
Man, you're preaching there. It's not going anywhere. There will always be another pristine setup somewhere in the market where some people are making money somewhere any day.
Yeah.
So there's no rush.
I think we got a pretty good market to be trading in too. Right now. I mean, I'm excited for the year ahead, the next 4 years, to be honest with you, and just to see. I think it's going to be spicy. Yep, and we'll see.
So, Joe, were you trading the first time around with Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the deal. I only experienced it vicariously through my friends at the time, but it sounded so, or at least the first half, where it was just every other week, just a crazy tweet sparked some 15% move pre-market.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. I gotta say it because especially in small caps and with the COVID market, everybody was getting stimulus checks. They're using their stimulus. They're sitting around the house. They don't have much to do. They're
downloading
thinking about downloading the software to start trading, putting their money in the market. And I mean, these small cap stocks, they would just fly. I mean, I haven't seen those days in a long time, but where every single small cap would hold up, one, the next one, like four of them, and
the dream.
It was an insane market. I hope we get it again. That'd be
absolutely.
Probably won't be as much as it was before, but still, I think we get a lot of new market participants, the ones who are prepared and, are ready with their strategies are going to be ready to take advantage of the market. So
Absolutely, and I mean, we saw that with the Trump trade, right? When he got elected, it was just the starting gun went off, so to speak. And you knew what to look in and what sectors to go in. And, small caps did great. A lot of crypto speculative stuff. All all of that. Real quick, so Qs, we are seeing what I was hoping for, where it does seem like we're just trending on down for this first half hour. I thought that we would maybe try to power reverse this into the half hour flip, but so far that got sold off too, that little pop up, and we're just sticking with the game plan here on the 5 minute. Every time it comes up into this EMA ribbon, we're just saying it's got to show me the money, otherwise we're staying short here. So what was my entry? I think 513.70 on the chase, because I just said, hey, I think this is where we're going, and I just want to get a little piece. Just pay me a little bit because I missed the yesterday swing or last week's swing. So now if you are in this trade, I would put a stop over that 515 or 514.50. Honestly, you could probably go 514.12, and it really shouldn't revisit. That. If it does U-turn that, I wouldn't want to be short. And I'd be fine taking a little paper cut for the chance to catch a nice move down to this 510 handle, something like that. Kind of where my head's at. Let's see what else we got. Let's take a peek at Mara for the boys. Mara, I don't know. I say things strange. So trading into this first, is this the gap here? Let's take a peek. Yeah, we're trading into the gap. Let's go, baby. So gap trades. Sometimes they like to dip in and then reclaim. Let's put a level there. Usually I would like to, I want to know it's real. Joe, sometimes you just got to know that it's real. And for it to be real, it's got to lose this 50% of the hold of the gap. So that's kind of where my head's at on Mara. Keep an eye on that level there. And if you should get a nice move down to the 1640, then we can start talking real bear action here. I am being mindful of the time, just because that's 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock market time here. Often they do like to give it a little yeehaw. You turn it there. When I'm swing trading, usually I wait for the first 30 minutes to kind of shake out before I make any decisions. But let's see if this can post a wick here. I'm going to be watching the 15-minute flip, 30-minute flip. It's about when I start flipping through the time frames here.
I know Mitch, he always likes to watch the VXX. I usually watch the UVXY on these days to go long on it, but it with where the market is. I mean, I wish I was up a little bit earlier today to see the drop in the market and then judge from there. But yeah, we'll have to see. This 10:30 time frame is always interesting, even especially in small caps too.
We are getting some spiciness here, and I call these save sticks on Qs. They are trying to drive it up here. They swung and got the levels off this liquidity, and I'm going to be honest, I'm getting out of my short break even if this candle doesn't do this. So I'm going to give it a little bit of room to work, but this looks pretty bullish. I'm not going to lie. This timing that we're talking about a potential flip here, I'm going to trust the system, because 5 minutes we are just trading back into that band, and it is rejecting for now. But I'm just staying on my toes, because these real quick can flip on you, and I don't want to be caught and miss a potential good long. But I do think it's important to not get caught up doing what I'm doing, staring at 1 minute candles, right? Very easily the initial plan could play out here, and I'd be silly to flip bias just because.
Yeah.
Joe, I was going to say, you watch the UVXY. Are you a leveraged ETF believer like myself? Do you think that's a good place to have your eyes on?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't traded it much, I haven't traded ETFs much, but the SPY, there's a point in time where I was, doing the options the SPY and UVXY, and just kind of playing those two against each other. But yeah, I do think that leveraged ETFs are definitely a spot that I want to delve into more.
Yeah, I there's a few traders that I follow who are very into tracking, especially big prints on leveraged ETFs and inverse ETFs, and it's really astounding how often they will coincide with major market tops and bottoms or major range breaks too. So you'll often see a lot of money going into the like QQQU, for example, when there's when it's time to buy the dip, for example, or when it's ready to break out of a big loading pattern. You'll see the same thing at the top of the range, and then it becomes the fun game of are these sellers or buyers? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that there's a lot to it. I think the mechanics behind it are that it gives kind of the best bang for buck if you have a bunch of cash and you want to just catch this trend for a nice little day trade or whatever else, or for a swing trade, I should say. But yeah, I guess all the proof you really need is in the QQQU all-time chart. I'll pull that up real quick. Turns out you can just sit in levered ETFs if you pick the right one. So
oh yeah,
it's pretty nutty every time I look at that compared to
yeah.
What's 3 times Qs? I'm blanking.
I'll
pull it up.
Yeah, I have it all in my trade the pool watch list, but I don't have that pulled up.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Why am I blanking on this? I love trading it too. Anyways, it doesn't look this pretty. Let me tell you that. It's down a lot over all time. So definitely the 3X is where they get you. So Qs, we are just still kind of basing here. I just see potential slides. I don't see anything too bullish yet, but it would need to do what we had talked about at that 515 or the 514 handle. See, just every time off of this midpoint, it just kind of dinging it. Gotta wait for that flip if we're bullish here. Otherwise, I'm sticking with the thesis.
Yeah, I think so.
What we got? Let's see what's happening with Boeing. I haven't checked Boeing yet. So they're just doing Boeing things out here, killing people. You know, it's. I wish I was surprised at this point, but it seems kind of like brand recognition or something. That hourly 200 tried to save it. It's looking sussy. We got equal lows in the pre-market. I think this is a potential short target here. That's looking kind of bear flaggy to me. 1 minute. Yeah, if anyone's looking for a spot to short Boeing, if it loses this 200 minute through the 172.77, you could look for a short through low of day and look for these pre-market lows. 170. So feeling spicy, maybe some 170 puts. Something to consider. You just make sure there is a potential this is basing and it's going to try to hold, but I think that this chart is way too hot and it just did kind of reset. All right, so keep an eye on that 170 spot. That's a major level, and it should be a magnet. But if this is really just off to the races still, then it might be bad news is good news type beat. In which case, this might be the crime candle. Joe, how do you feel about those 200 DMA crime candles, where they just gap down to it, tag it, and then never look back?
Yeah, I always regret not taking some shares there long, just for the short bounce in it.
Right.
Yeah, because you can see it right on the daily chart. It's
just sitting there looking pretty.
Just sitting there. And
yeah, man. What is it? Oh, there's one chart that always stands out to me for that. I think it's Hood. Was it Hood? Yeah, this criminal 30% dump, 32% dump. It gaps down 3 days in a row under the 200 and then never looks back. If you just bought because it was under the 200, you would have had the easiest 185, 200% move trade ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't got to.
There.
Yeah, sometimes you don't got to do too much if you have simple rules that work. So congrats, you dirty 200-day buyers on Hood. Boeing, I believe, is starting to get that breakdown. It's trying to hold this intermediate low, which is probably the 50% fib of this bear flag. Yep, it's trying. I think it's going to give out here, but something to consider. On Qs, this little 1 minute formation is kind of rising wedgie here to me. It's not looking like a solid base yet. Maybe we have to sweep this out and get a stronger undercut because there are still buyers here, but I don't know. They could turn around pretty fast. I'm still leaning towards down until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, I'm going to take a theoretical trade on Boeing here if it loses this little level. It's kind of a chase. So this to me is a mental trade, but I'm just throwing it out there because I haven't been trading too much today, and I want to give the boys some action if they're scratching for it. Something that I'd be looking for. Yeah, down to the 170, just a little quick scalperoonie. Nothing too crazy. Then I'd leave a little piece on for continuation just in case we have a big day. Par is out of Mara for 50-cent win. I like it. Let's go look at that real quick. I'm assuming that shook you out a little bit, that big green candle there into the gap, and I totally respect that. I would probably be mostly out, if not all out here. But let's see, we might get a little follow through to the downside. Either way, let's take a look at crypto, see what's cooking. Oh, it is cooking in the wrong direction. 91.
Nice.
And Qs, we are getting a little wedge break structure-wise. What was that, Joe?
Do you trade crypto? See,
I
know
had my
Tim does.
phase. I had my phase. I got it mostly out of my system. Now I will do a little bit of Bitcoin futures trading here and there, scalping, but for the most part, I have a little pot that I'm not touching for the long term. And besides that, I don't look.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, it's so volatile. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. When it dumps and everybody freaks out, I'll buy some more. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm very proud of my biggest trade of the last quarter or so was just Bitcoin, shocker, the biggest cup and handle ever, it turns out it does play out. So that was a nice quick move and saved me from grinding my gears into smaller plays while that one was just easy money.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to just, when you get the fat pitch, take the fat pitch, don't overthink it. Don't talk yourself out of the trade. You got to take stabs. And if it looks really good, put some money on it, Qs, dude, every time we're over this 9 EMA, just getting bopped on down. Nothing saying buy me yet. What else we got? Like app under 325, but the spread is 50 cents. That'll kill my scalp. Yeah, I hate the wide spreads. It's such a bummer when you find a pretty stock and you're like, well, I can't trade it.
Yeah.
App is flagging, definitely relatively strong today. What are we doing on a daily? Zoom it back a little bit. Holding a flag, trying to curl out here. Oh, app, this one. Oh, you're trying to gut me, chat. You're trying to hurt my heart. Because I was trading it. See all these levels down here? Before it went full parabolic. I was trading it in the 80s and 70s. Oh, that hurts. All right.
Yeah.
What can you do? You got to laugh.
That gap up.
That's brutal. Yeah, left
nice
me in the
multi-day
dust.
Mover. Wow.
Crazy. Well, sometimes it's enough to say I had my eyes in the right place, even if I fumbled the bag. Next time I'll catch it.
Yep.
So app here is getting tight on the Bollingers on the daily. It wants to move big soon. I would be keeping an eye on this, and I'm not going to lie. This is not looking shortable to me yet. You said you like it under 325. I'm assuming long. I would be with you if you're liking it long under there. Getting tight. Let's check. Let's throw a fib. Let's throw a fib on that. Yep, a 50% retest. It tested it once. Fake breakdown below. If it can power through pre-market highs, call it 332. What is that? An hourly 200 moving average? Man, Joe, I love these 200s on anything. I
Mhm.
throw a 200 on anything and I'm down. So responsive. So yeah, that'd be kind of what I'm looking for here. I like app for a potential swing here. I think it's definitely a leader. I'm sorry, I got a crazed cat at my door. Give me one sec here.
Sure thing.
All right. Say hi. Say hi, Cleo. Oh, you're a little cranky. You want food?
There we go. I've got one of those too. He hasn't come by yet in the morning, but he comes to get his tuna.
Oh, of course. Yeah, this is my number one trading partner here. Partner in crime. So, Q's, are you still muddling around down here? Are you trying to prove me wrong? Trying to prove me wrong. Let's see if we are getting a trend change here. We are either seeing a rising wedge or the start of a little squeeze pattern here. I'm going to flip over to Bookmap really quick. I don't think you guys can see that, but Bookmap is on NQ 21350 is our level. They are pumping it right now. I'm looking for that level to get flipped to support. Right now, they are assaulting it pretty heavily. I think I can share this. Okay, cool. So we have equilibrium kind of at this red line. These are the buyers showing up and coming off. See, they're putting more liquidity up higher at that 21425. That's their target there. They want to go mitigate the sellers that were there from pre-market. So we are getting a pump up here. I'm going to flip back to I think I'm sharing the wrong thing here. Let's see. There we go. All right, we're back. So Q is powering through that level here. We are going to see if it can hold the candle. Like I said, it shouldn't be able to hold a candle through 514.12 if I'm right. Looking like I'm getting cooked here. Looking like I'm getting cooked here a little bit. But we're going to see if that plays out and trust the process. Let's look at the leaders. Am I freezing? It's probably not doing much. Apple trying to base out. On the 5-minute, if it can flip 250, 235-ish, then it can start cooking here. What else was leading? Palantir's starting to set up in a little flag, a little pennant. This is a potential long for sure.
Yeah, that's looked like supporting that 7650 area.
Yeah, that's impressive.
77.
It's starting to shape up nicely.
Break to the upside off of the downtrend.
We have room up to 80 plus on Palantir if it wants to cook.
Yeah.
Very quickly yeet on up 5% there. But we need to be bullish here. We need to be bullish here. We need to see continuation on the SPY and Qs. So far, no continuation. What else we got? A walk around the park. TKNO, biotech. That's green. AAP, auto parts. That's green. Interesting flashes of green. P10, some small cap oil, I believe. Emerging markets, more biotech. It is slim pickings if you want something green today. And let's see, Qs look like they are rejecting that potential flip stick there. They tried to break over our pivot. They rejected the pivot, and on the 5-minute chart, could not break the ribbon. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Still not ready to go bull. And what else we got cooking here? Check in on chat. You like the cat? Thank you, Island Girl. She likes you too. She is very friendly. I'm sure she'll be back up here any second. What else we got? I'm checking on back. Steve, the market dropped big in the last few days last year. Are you expecting the same moves? Well, since I have the gift of hindsight here, yeah, I mean, I think that we are going to see continuation at this point. It doesn't look like buyers are ready to step in. We're one day away from the end of the year. I think that continuation of the pattern here selling does make sense, and it also sets up a potential rejected bearish pattern into the new year with new flow. So that's something to consider as well. We could get a nice flush and shake everybody out in the next day or two, and then just rip on up for the next 2 weeks. And that's kind of my game plan here. I'm not betting the farm on it, so to speak, but that's the plan. I'm sticking to it till it proves me wrong. So Palantir is cooking that 1 minute 200 moving average. It doesn't look quite ready for me. Seeing top wicks into it, but that is something I'm considering. If it can flip that 77, 15 to 20-ish area, it could definitely get going for a long. Q's rejected VWAP. Yeah, that's what we were kind of watching there. I don't actually have VWAP on this chart. That's obviously a great tool. I was using just some moving average ribbons and stuff like that, and it was basically just getting bopped every time. So let's see if it can post a bullish 5-minute stick in here and give it some room to look for a bullish 15-minute stick and test our pivot here at 514.11. That would be kind of what I'm looking for. But looks like it's still got a minute. We're going to watch this flip in 20 seconds here. It looks like it's still selling off our blue midline here. Palantir looking better for sure. Still can't flip it quite yet. And SPY, stinky. Rising wedge, broke down, flipped from, or it's just keeping under that blue midline all day. Still no buyers yet. We're going to need to see power through and a back test hold. Right now we chopped up through and then rejected. Oh man, all my babies. NNE is down 10%. I love that. GME holding better than most of the market. This is something I don't want to ignore. Don't sleep on your boy GME, guys, because it is holding like a champ, flagging while the market drops. On the daily, it is acting very, very nice. I was hoping that it would just gap and go on this breakout day, but instead it's just posting long bottom wicks back into the little gap. It's basically healing the gap up right now, which is giving it room to the upside immediately if it wants to go. I think it's kind of treading water here as the market kind of pukes a little bit. So long term, we are cooking and on track. Really nice cup and handle breakout. The measured move will be to 40 or 50. How much money are we making here? 40. All right. We're making some good money. But with these memes, they can always overshoot. And 50 is a level I'm looking for in the next 3 months or so. Longer term, we know where we're going. We're building out a pennant. We're going to the moon. I have revoked 90% of my apish tendencies, but I reserved the 10% left inside of me to be a GME bull because the good guys always win.
Right.
And that's the narrative that's most fun. So that's the one I subscribe to. So GME is basing off of our 200-minute or 5-minute moving average here. Basically, it is holding short-term trends. It tried to pump. It came back to break even, said we are not done. Not yet, at least. Q's trying to post another save stick. I think it's back testing this little bearish wedge, and we will see what happens up at this 513.50 area, if it can even get that strong. Now we're starting to reject the 1-minute ribbon here. Before we were just rejecting off the 5-minute ribbon. So that's something to keep an eye on. If we can flip the really short-term trends, then we can just get downtrend flush mode cooking there. Let's check on UVooksy. What we got on UVooksy, really nice flag, tried to break out, broke down, broke the pattern. Now we're back testing, just kind of basing here. We could save the bullish pattern and do some kind of megaphone action, kind of cup and handle type beat off of yesterday's high, just about. We could also be seeing a little head and shoulders action. We did fail this bullish pattern here, so it's something to keep an eye on. Our brains are super weird. That's a weird way to start this. How do I say this? Look, it's super helpful to look at inverse patterns as well. Like you might see something, even if say VIX is just an exact mirror image inverse of SPY. It's not, but just pretend it is. Just by flipping back and forth, your brain will pick up on completely different patterns. So it's really helpful to just question, like challenge your brain's kind of default settings, so to speak, to just see what's cooking on the inverse side. Check those inverse ETFs, check things that have low beta, and just see what stands out to your brain. We were really good at finding patterns if we know what to look for, even a little bit. So Qs ain't doing nothing good, let me tell you what. So if you're trading with me today, you're feeling pretty comfortable in this red because we are just sticking with the trend and we are not getting too complicated. Sometimes the market does the work for us and we just have to kind of catch a piece and hold on.
Yep.
So we got our stop there in place. It was just about as tight as it could get. I said it was a mental stop. I need a 1 minute candle to close above this 514.12 and then 1 minute candle to follow through for me to be out. It wicked right at our pivot. And so when I saw that, I said, all right, whew, I think we're okay here. I think we're okay. But
nice.
Still plenty of game to be played, so to speak. We are looking for 510 to start tranching out. We are going to keep a little bit on down to 505-ish. Kind of what I'm looking for as a move today. And honestly, let's check our SATI ATR levels. I love this indicator. Free on Trading View. Highly recommended. Cool dude too. Man, we just blew through it pre-market. So, oh man, I'm not good. I get carried away, Joe. I just get carried away. You know, when we're just blowing through levels like this, it's like, well, it's never going to stop. So that's why I'm kind of trying to be tempered. We have a big round number at 510. That's a good place. That's a good move if we do get it.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. And actually, let's pull up the daily. Let's just get our bearings on Qs. Sorry for the chart gore, but what really is important here, this line right here, let's make it pink.
Yeah, it's going to be, if it could come down, touch that 50.
Yeah.
Moving average should be right at support of a few days ago. I mean, dipping right into that area would be nice. Okay,
absolutely. Yeah, and we're kind of double dipping into this little gap out here. That's what I would expect, at least. We could undercut the previous low at 509. I think that would be a really nice look if we could find a catch in like 508 to 510, right off that 50, like you're mentioning. And what would that set us up for, right? A big flush out into a major moving average that on the intraday chart, it's looking rough, you know, like I mean, you don't feel good buying here, but it very well could be the place to buy right into this trend line. If we can undercut and reclaim, like it's like, look at that. It's responsive. It wants to play ball here. It's wicking. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Like, where would we yeehaw and just shake out all of the short-term traders and really get that trend flip, get people like me to get shaken out of our shorts and really get cooking long. So, because I mean, I have a hard time fading Santa, even if it's past Christmas. I think that there's going to be a lot of bullish flows coming into next year because nobody had to freaking sell, you know, like, I don't know. I see just good times keep rolling here for a little bit. But hey, that's when they get you to. So always ready to be proven wrong. Qs, they're trying to save that low previously. That was a save stick attempt, and it just got bopped down at the mid level there. Still just can't get any traction. Meanwhile, UVXY just grinding on up. It's going to retest the highs here, push higher in all likelihood. What else we got? And Mara would have been a buck. Is it going for the gap there? Let's take a look. Oh, it's just sliding on down through that gap. Now we're going to see if it's real. We're at the 50% almost. This was our first target here. We're going to keep an eye on that in the background here. And this is another one where if you have a good entry, like just look at this. I love these EMA ribbons. Like this just made the trade so easy. If you were sitting in it, this was the only time where you'd get scared for sure. And I think that's what shook you a little bit right around that time. Totally understandable. But just a visual marker of, hey, we are selling today. Until this flips, keep on selling every time it tags it. You know, the micro scalpers out here getting 100 entries off of this ribbon. I'm short. I'm short. I'm short. I'm short.
Yep, popping right up into there. That's a great way to pyramid down
Oh yeah, and that's
into
a
the.
that's a great concept to bring up because man, pyramiding, that's how the big boys really put the pedal to the metal, right? Like when you've got a good trade, you sink your teeth in and you cook it.
Hmm.
As long as you know what your stops are and you're not over leveraging and going to get blown out the other way. I'm
Yeah.
not talking, average into zero DT options as they start working. But there's a lot of money to be made. Most of my favorite swing traders, the ones who really cook, like we're talking hundreds of percentages a year, that's how they're doing it. They're finding a good thing, they're sinking their teeth in, and they're waiting for it to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's
And
how
I
you
think
get like the COVID moves, like Peloton or Upstart or Firm. Just never let go until it tells you to. Sometimes that'll be 500% away. It's
yeah.
a
I think
wild
that's a
market.
whole nother, concept with traders, to learn. It's like a whole nother part of the puzzle that's, like a whole nother chapter.
Yeah,
It's
whole nother book.
getting that whole sizing, ads, covers, and being able to manage the trade while you're in the trade is, like a whole nother concept other than just one in, one out, you know, type thing as well. So, and that's even if you're one in and you're just scaling out. I think that's much, much different than, scaling up, on the trade and continuing to manage the trade. Cause, like you said, you gotta be, got to be on point with that. But that would be like the next level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're so right. It is it just activates a different part of your brain, like in terms of the management, the sizing. It's very mathematical. It's very, there's less of there's always an art to it. Well, we're getting another save stick attempt here. They're trying to hold the double bottom on cues. We're going to watch our midline here. That's the first boss, so to speak. See if it can clear. This is a look where you could potentially see a bottoming action, right? Our pink here, that's our big downtrend line or uptrend line that it is attempting to hold. If it can carve out a higher low here, then we can try to boost. And then if we reclaim up here, this would be my new stop. Why aren't you appearing? White text, that'll do it. There we go. So that should not be reclaimed. Ideally, even the 50% of this little move would get rejected. So I'm not getting too hasty here, but I'm starting to look at contingencies. We could see double bottom off the bottom of this range. We could see a flush through this pattern. And even if we see the flush through the pattern, we could see a strong wake up later in the day or tomorrow. So that's something to consider, Joe, like you said, I plan on being wrong. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to be wrong today and how I can make money off of that.
Right.
We got GME going green on the day, baby. I think we're getting a push out of that base. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is either a bear flag or we're ramping up barcoding to get a little squeeze action here, getting real tight on the Bollinger Bands. You love to see it. You love to see the push up here. So now is when it either rejects because it's overbought and getting tight, and then we get the extension down, or we can just power on through. So I'm keeping an eye on that too. Qs, they're trying to save stick it. They're trying to flip this blue line. Let's see what you got, Bulls. Let's see what you got. Well, still bing bonging on this line here on the initial. Oh, not even the initial low day, just the next level down. So they're just stair stepping it. No panic in the market. Nothing too crazy. We're not gonna die. As he says, as the market rejects this level. Now let's see. Let's let it play out. What else we got?
Yeah, this will be interesting on the cues. They're just gradually stepping it up there. SPY, it's right to its pivot point. Third pivot point, right about 584. I mean, I don't know if this all stays under.
So one thing I am looking here on Bookmap is this 21250 level. You can see it on the bottom of the screen there, that big beefy, I mean, not super beefy, but the flat orange level there. That is resting liquidity. That is a wall. So market came down once, and you can see an instant response off of it up to 21362, came back down, and now it's double testing, and that held the line. Those there's two ways you can look at this. One way is that they refilled, they got all they needed, and that's holding as support. That's a buy level there, and the book recognizes that it came back down, and it just, it's saying, okay, this is our floor, we're going to push up off of that. That is what we're getting up now. We'll see if it can flip this this VWAP here and make it real. Another way you could look at it, if this fails, is this is still a target. There's still resting liquidity down here. There's orders to be filled down here. So if we do reject it in the midway, equilibrium of the day, VWAP, however you want to gauge that, we could very easily see it come and sweep back down. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on Bookmap. I'm going to want to see if this resting level of liquidity stays there, what it does in response to price, and also if other levels start coming on. If they start coming on higher like this, then it'll start to help me build my bullish thesis, because I'll see there's orders waiting to be filled up here. They could start laddering price up. We could start liquidating shorts as we take out stops of each previous lower high. And that's essentially what a pennant break is. You have a series of lower highs, and then all of a sudden you have something to flip it, and then they start getting stopped out at each one of those. So just a little Bookmap theory to throw at you there. Just another tool that's really, really useful. I think they're in some ways partnered with TTP2. Really great company. I really am a big fan. And GME getting a nice lift. You love to see it. It is squeezing out in the 1 minute. So now how I play these Bollinger Bands, we're getting the squeeze on the 1. We go to the 5. See, it's testing the squeeze on the 5. If it can keep being bullish and squeezing out on the 5, then we'll be looking for, it's getting compressed on the 15. When you have the stacking time frames, you get some confluence where you can get a really nice big squeeze. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Meanwhile, Q's still rejecting our ribbon here, but they're trying to curl on the 1 minute here. So it's a battle, a little tweezer action here between algos, just fighting each other off these moving averages. Oh, whoops, I'm sorry. I don't have my, there it is. There's the chart. Sorry about that. Okay, SMCI, nice SS, but hole number 32 near. Let's take a peek. Whole number near ATR. So it's it's hard for me to want to initiate a trade here, but let's pull it out and take a better look. Oh, but man, when you look at that, dude, are we shorting this? We got gaps below. Let's do a little investigative work here. Let's pop a fib on that bad boy. Let's see what we're cooking with. We just lost the 50. We gapped down through the 50. That is a bad look. We have this consolidation pattern that we're testing. If the market doesn't turn up here, then this could be a breakdown to, man, we've got some things to heal at 27.50. We've got charts to heal down at 24 to 25. We could see a big flush to 18, but let's not get too crazy. I think that there is decent potential for this short to play out. Definitely keep an eye on this one. It's got room down to 25 if this thing wants to puke. What a wild mover. Another one just shook me out viciously. I was in at 24, and then it dumped to 17, and I said, that's enough pain. And then
Yeah.
Yeehawed me 200% or something in a week. Yep, that'll do it. But let's see what else we got cooking out here. Oh, Q's wanted to dump. It's just fighting for its life out here. R. Kelly, R. Qly. What do we got? What do we got on chips? How they doing? SMH just trading flat all day long. Nvidia's probably holding it up. Q's got a safe stick cooking here. Let's see if that can play out. It's got 20 seconds left to push in this minute stick. You'd want to see a close over 513.27 if you're a bull. Nvidia holding a higher low on the day. It's building out a flag. Very strong action. You'll love to see that. That's going to lead us on up if we're going to go for it here. That looks like a real stick. All right. if this 1 minute candle plays out, then I probably should be closing this short break even here. Otherwise, we're getting stopped here. But it sure is looking like it wants to turn this into a pennant base.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we talked about that big uptrend line, or pink line here. That is still looking like it wants to hold like a champ. We double bottomed off of that. That's super valid for me at the bottom of the range. I think that now I am starting to look at how I would trade this bullishly. I think it's a little early to just flip bias here at break even. I mean, I am green on the short trade, so I could just get out and kind of watch. That's definitely an option if you want to protect small gains here. No shame in that at all. But right now, I'm just watching my trend line here. I moved it on up to the high here. This is not high tech. This is not 100%, but hey, sometimes simple lines work. So I'm going to keep an eye on that here. But basically what I'm seeing is we're compressing down. Bears are selling us off, but we are compressing into this level of support here. So I'm actually going to zoom out and redraw my support zone. And let's go to a daily. And I'm going to draw it like this. So basically it came down, gapped down, and it pushed past this pivot here. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So I think that's kind of the area where there are buyers resting. And I mean, shoot, when you're at the bottom of the range on a thing that always goes up, it's hard not to say buy. Look at this, look at this daily candle we're starting big print here. This is bullish. And we have room to fill the gap up to 517.77. That would be an area I'd be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And let's also mark opening level of our day here. I'm going to start.
Yeah, pretty strong push here off of that.
Ooh. Yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely bullish at this point. I am getting out of my short at break even. Way she goes. I'm not going to get dragged though at the bottom of a range. In fact, I will be looking for a back test off of this 514 level. And honestly, I think front running under 515 probably will work. Hard to recommend that as financial advice, but hey, if you want to send it, we are starting to cook here. What this yellow block that just appeared on my chart is it's called a breaker block. So basically price tried to come up, rejected. Now it's trying to flip it. If it flips it, we're looking for support off of this level to basically say, all right, this is our new support. This was the place we're selling. Now this is the place where we are buying. And I'm going to check bookmap here. And what do we see? Okay, see, we're seeing the laddering up. We're seeing that green pop off. And the big thing here, look at the bottom of the screen. So see what happened? See that orange line there that went blue? So that's very, very bullish. Remember, we were saying, well, there's still liquidity down there. They could still sweep down there. That's still a target. They took the target off, and what happens? They start laddering liquidity up, and we have a big rocket through the purple line here, which is VWAP. So we're off to the races. This now I would say is bullish. Like we could still back test here. We could chop around, but now I have flipped bullish. We are at the bottom of the range. I think that's about all you could expect if you're a bear, unless we're getting a real major flush out. And if we were, I don't think it would be right now. Could be, always a possibility. But that's kind of the way I'm approaching today.
I think we got a question there, Steve.
That bookmap, is it free software? It's not free. There are streams on YouTube that are free. It's a really good paid service. There are free demos, I believe. I think it is $40 a month for the full package. And then you can look at all stocks. What is free is that you can download it and get free. Last time I checked, it was SPY, QQQ, and Apple. And honestly, if there were any three that I could pick, it would be those. That's all you really need. If you'd like to take the plunge, I think it's a great service and well worth your money, more than almost any other paid service. I'm very reluctant to recommend them in general, but this is one that I've used for years and I really love. It's very forward. It's one of the very few indicators that's forward leading like that. Like, we kind of called that in real time, what we were looking for, and then it played out. And that's something that's, it's a lot harder to get on a lot of other indicators, that forward leaning stuff. It's almost like looking at flow. There's very other few things that can kind of be predictive in that sense, I would say. Man, NVIDIA with the power stick there on volume. So that's bullish as heck. You gotta love that. NVIDIA has room up to 140. You could overshoot to 140, 150-ish. So, all right. I am very close to taking a long on Qs. If we can get a candle print over here, it gets flagging out here. I'd like to see it maybe dip a little bit deeper to get the 514 fill. And then I will be getting a little sussy up at 515.50 because that is the area we were looking at pre-market for a potential. Oh, never mind. We were looking way up here, but that is that's our opening level. So that is a potential confluence with this 200-minute moving average where we could see a rejection. Personally, I think that we are starting to gear up for a bullish day here. This is a nice double bottom off support. I like what I'm seeing. So we can start looking around and seeing what is looking like a good dip buy. Whole lot of red, gotta say. Still liking chips. Let's take a look at TSM.
Yeah, the heat map doesn't look too.
Oh,
healthy.
shoot. Sorry, I forgot I'm still on there. There we go. Oh, wait, actually, now that I look at it. So, yeah, bookmap, what are we seeing there? They put in the support there, and we're boosting off of that, and then we're seeing the flashing orange up above us. That's basically baiting the algo, saying, come buy me, chase me up, let's go. We're going to the moon. And as you can see, we're in bull mode here. So we are going to keep on looking for this to keep on cooking. We got a 21,400 handle approaching. That is a pretty logical target. I am leaning on in here, my bad eyes. Let's see what I can see. 21,387 is the short-term target for liquidity. We want to see that get filled, and then we want to see orders coming in at the 21,400. We also have 21,412 above there, a liquidity band. That is a potential pivot point that we can look at when that comes in. So those are some levels there to keep an eye on. We also have TSM holding that 200. I like TSM for a swing. It wants to break out of this pattern. I don't think this is bearish. I think this is the leader, and I think it wants to keep cooking. I think it is negotiated. It just needs to negotiate this sell zone here. It was running a little hot, but it was cooking this. Oh, I did the thing. I'm not switched to my chart. There we go. Anyways, TSM on the longer time frames here, it is basing. I do believe this is a big base off of previous highs. Yep, we're reloading, flipping this high, this resistance to support, and it has blue skies up ahead. Very, very bullish on this company from an investing standpoint. On our book map, we are seeing continuation. See, they just laddering it on up. So we got our 387 handle and it boosted through there. Now it's putting it on at the 400 like we were talking about, up to the 412. And they're also adding liquidity up to the 4125. I'm sorry, 21,425 handle. And that is going to be some kind of falling moving average where you could see some sellers come in on different time frames. Something to keep an eye on. We're going to switch back to charts and zoom on in. What are we seeing? Qs with the surge up to basically mitigate price action today. If you were long from the open, you just had a chance to get out. What are we seeing? We're seeing pullback off of that, some profit taking / risk mitigation, and we are back testing our support level. If this holds, I will be looking for a long. We could see a dip back into this fair value gap too. Maybe one last test, it could put in a higher low. So let's keep an eye on what it does in this range. Can seem kind of granular and silly, but I do like putting fibs even on small moves like this to gauge where we're at. I want to see this 50%, this 513.75 get tested and hold. If we're really off to the races, it just holds right here on this breaker block, but it could very easily dip a little deeper into that. Okay, so short-term traders taking a short off the following 200-minute moving average or the opening level are printing here. We want to see where they take profit, if they take profit, or if we just got shut there and we're going lower. Let's find out. Back to opening level and rejected so far, but our blue line, this is our guiding light. Under we're bearish, over we're bullish. We are back testing it after a surge through it. This is where I would like to see some support start coming in, and we're waking up. If we revisit, I will take a long here. Trying to fill off of this, and then I would add right here, and I'd stop out under here. All right. So I've got a starter. We'll mark that. And I will add off of this, and I will call myself wrong if we lose that. $5.13 would be nice. Right at the bottom of the fair value gap, right into the base here, right into our big uptrend line. I'd be fine with adding there, and then I would, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. And it'll be a good learning lesson, because my bias was wait for a pop and fade that. I thought that got counted or negated, but we'll see. So this is what I'd be kind of liking to see, some bottom wicks forming. There are buyers here still, but we got to see this area of thin tape basically hold and renegotiate and push up off of that. Yeah, so that's why I would be adding off the 13 handle and stopping out under 12.50 and call it 12 in 2 different tranches.
Yeah. Should have some supply down here. I mean, some demand in that 513 ish area.
Yeah, and bear in mind, I do trade a little more aggressively when I'm on stream, because I'm usually very cautious, and that's not as fun to watch. But I try to be very transparent about my thought process and all that. So we're not gambling here, but we are playing it a little faster and looser than maybe I would if I was being boring in my Roth, right? Mm-hmm. So we can go around the horn, check some leaders, see what's cooking, see what it's looking like underneath the hood. Apple still basing out. Microsoft a little more bearish, I'd say, kind of looking like a bear flag there still. Netflix kind of in the middle. Meta a little heavier there. Again, looks like a bear flag breaking down. Hopefully it can put in a higher low and get a kind of inverted head and shoulders look. Yeah, maybe I was a little too hasty to buy this back test. Guess we'll see. What else? You want to keep an eye on Apple to see if that's going to hold these moving averages here. Basically retesting this level of support. Drag it down a little bit. And yeah, Bookmap, you can get a free trial as a bonus with your first TTP challenge. That's a great deal there. 2 great services. Love to see it. Yeah, I'd highly recommend trying it out, and feel free to ask me any old questions about it on stream here. This is an area where I have a pretty good amount of experience, so I think I can share a little bit here and there. As always, there's a lot of different ways to use any tool, so I also recommend checking out on YouTube. There's some great resources by the company itself. They put out some really comprehensive courses that I'd highly recommend. Like 4 hours of material if you want to go down the rabbit hole. It's really good stuff. So this is not what I'd like to see here, EBH, but let's see if the trade plan holds. So 513, we're adding a little bit, and then we'll start getting stopped out here, which is very possible. Staggered stops. But hey, gotta put some money on the table sometimes.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with formulating an idea, having your stop in place. You know what your entry, you know where you want to stop out. Doesn't always mean that it's a failed a trade. It might be a failed idea, but if you execute your trade the way you planned it, then
numbers game, right? Eventually it'll work. if your ideas are good, and if not, then you learn from don't touch the stove. But, I am seeing wick ups here. I think this zone that we were looking for the loads, maybe it never comes down, and maybe that's okay. I'd be okay with that too. When you see a 1 minute candle print, you're like, wait, come back down. You're like, wait, maybe this is working. Maybe I start chasing. But no, we're not going to do that. So Apple bottom wicks off of the kind of base of our support. Let's switch to a 5 minute, see what we see. Maybe we can move these wicks up on a 5 minute level. And yeah, there we're seeing 5 minute demand starting to form. Like to see that. Pick SPY, then we're going to go around the hood, and we are getting on close to the end of our session here too. So if there's anything else people want me to take a look at, want to discuss here before we wrap up shop, you can do that too. Got a good luck cat coming in the window. That's always a good sign for the rest of the day. All righty, he is. Par is in NVIDIA long at 137.40. Let's take a look at that trade. I'm thinking I like it. Ooh, I like that. So we are seeing a nice compression, a little pennant action here. We are also seeing something that's a really pretty look. Let me find the right tool to show y'all. Where's it at? There's it at. We've got a nice squeeze ramp. See that? Perfect. It wants to ramp up. Let's redraw that a little better. Oh, mamma mia, that's so pretty. So I think it's going to keep getting tighter in here, and then it's going to break. It's going to look for this top here. If you are a scalper, that's your first take profit. Your pivot is going to be right about 139.50 to 140, let's call it. That's the area where if it's going to reject, it will. If we're having a big old bull day, we can see extensions to our ATR levels, 141 and 50. It's got some nice room to cook there. I really like this. And let's pull it out for you and give you a more holistic look. What do we got? We got a big old flag break cooking today. Well, the rest of the market is going down. What's NVIDIA doing? It's setting up and it's pushing out of a flag here. This is really bullish. You could even potentially hold part of this long for a swing.
NVIDIA is the market.
It is the market. You got that right. Yeah. So what are we seeing? We're seeing a little pivot form here at the 137.80. I'm thinking that if it comes back down to 137.50, I will join you in this trade. Otherwise, I will play a back test of this pivot and a push out of it if I get it, and I might not. But I got eyes on this now. I like it a lot. This is, I think, where I would want my money long. Chips looking good. This is the leader. We have room. It's a really nice chart.
Yep, like that it's above previous close now.
Absolutely.
Holding, dipping below, holding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be looking for the upside into that 139 if we can get it.
Yeah, there's that.
I think we got another question on here about the book map.
What indicator is close to book map on TradingView? You're going to have a real hard time replicating it. Basically what the book map gives you, it's like a DOM. So basically like a order book where you can see what price, like how many orders are sitting at each price, but you're getting that visually. It's very, very unique. And man, I love TradingView, and I've got an indicator for everything, but honestly, I can't recommend anything that will replicate book map. It's very, very unique. So I think, if you're looking to get into the book map stuff, maybe watch a video or two on YouTube. There's really good tutorials, and just give the free trial a shot with TTP, or on their own if you already have a TTP account. And I think it's a really good tool to add to the repertoire. It'll never be less, or it'll never go out of style, so to speak. Okay, in video, we are getting the potential breakout action here, and we are up to green on our long on Qs as well. So that was a nice little, just make me sweat a little bit. Can't get too comfortable now, We got a good luck cat on the desk. And maybe we come back and I'm going to put in an order for 137.78 on NVIDIA, a little back test there. And basically, I'm not trying to buy something that's too extended, and I think I'm probably going to miss this, to be completely honest. It looks like it just wants to eat here. But that's okay too. We got one working trade on the books. We closed our short for a very small gain. Maybe it was break even now. Yeah, we got stopped at break even. That's fine. 39.37. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, a decent rejection here makes me want to consider actually looking a little deeper, but we are seeing strength still. Hey, stop shaking my monitor. Oh, over here. Okay. Video looking strong. Q's starting to flag. We're curving. We're curling. We got that curly look to us. And we are starting to test this purple line here, the falling 200-minute moving average. I would expect price to tighten up in here. Test again, come higher low, test again, and then I want to see a pop and a flip. The thing is that we are starting to get, I guess we got like an hour and a half of good volume left. I mean, still pretty bad volume, I would figure. Actually, I haven't checked. Yeah, incredibly low volume today. End of the year, all that. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Moves might not follow through as well today, just because there's, it's easier to move the market around. And maybe that means the moves follow through better. Sometimes they'll just use, I think that's what we saw in the morning. They kind of, you gave them an inch and they took a little bit of a mile there, gapping us down like that. So we could see some decent moves here, but I'm just a little bit, always like 1 foot out the door on trades when it's low volume. Just something to consider. Stop to break even. I close my desk and let it trade beautiful par. I love this mentality. You see the setup, you protected yourself, and now why overthink it? Let it happen or let it not happen. You've taken out the need to babysit it, so therefore it's not an investment of time on your part. You've set yourself up for success, and now we cook. I love that. Really good to see. Oh, I won't say a single bad thing about Mitch. I learned so much from him every single time. But man, I really appreciate that you guys are getting something out of this. I appreciate you bearing with my ramblings. I'm not used to for the first half not having somebody to bounce off of. So y'all are much appreciated. Money Mitch, there's my boy.
Yeah, money Mitch.
But deal with what you got to deal with, man. And I know how that stuff goes.
Got a lot of appreciation for that guy. He's in the hot seat.
Oh yeah. He's the man, and cool, calm, collected, no matter what. I love it. He gets me. He's the opposite of tilting. When I'm in the room with him, I'm untiltable.
Yeah, always a smile.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start to wrap up here. Thoughts on ONDS? Let's take a look at that really quick. NVIDIA might give me my entry here coming up. We'll see. But ONDS. Ondas Holdings. Ooh, okay. We got a holding company. We got a micro cap. Lots of big volume pushing up there through the 3. That is our pivot there of 3 holds, and we're looking for extensions to 325 up to 343. Let's pull it back on the daily and get our bearings. Whoa, we are up here. What do we got? That is a heck of a chart. So it's a breaking out of a stage 2 base through the $2 there. It's got room up to 350. That falling 200-week moving average would be my area to target. Can zoom in a little bit. What do we got on the left-hand side of the wall? Sorry, I'm speed running this here, but we can look for fair value gaps on the left-hand side of the wall, and you can see there, boom, 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 pinpoint accuracy there. So they mitigated this. The next step will be for them to tackle this big consolidation where it rejected hard. So that's a big zone there. It's actually pretty light on the volume profile. So that's why this thing's boosting. People were buying it all day down under $1. If you're in this trade, I would look for continuation through last week's high. If you get that 311, you can look for a push to 350. I would not overstay your welcome or swing this too much, just because I don't know what the heck it is. It could, and it's up on stilts here. So something to consider, but man, sure as heck wouldn't short it up here either yet until it proves me wrong. Interesting chart. I'll have to see what they do later. All right. Let's take one quick glance over the market and we'll start wrapping up here. We got SPY trying to flip that pre-market low. We still got the falling 200-minute average that's got to flip, but we're going to keep an eye on it. In general, Qs, they are looking bullish. We've posted a higher low here, now a lower low. So we are consolidating like I was looking for into this falling 200. we want to see this low hold. So my stop will be moved up to 513.10, 513.10, a soft stop because I want a candle to close under there. Besides that, I'm letting this cook. Check NVIDIA, see if I got in there. Yep, I just got filled, so we'll see how that goes. My stop for NVIDIA is under 137. I don't think it should break below that pennant. I think it wants to keep on curling up and putting in higher lows there. So that is where I'm at with my trades. The sector heat map is looking rough still. We have no sector in the green. That's
fun.
The
only sector that's in the green is NVIDIA.
Yeah, right. Which is the only one that matters, right? I mean,
exactly.
All righty. So I think we're just about wrapping up here. Joe, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, helping me out, and giving me a sounding wall to my madness here.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Absolutely. Glad to be here.
All right, guys. So you will see me bright and early tomorrow. I am not sure on Mitch's status, but if not tomorrow, then shortly you will have him back. Don't worry. You're not stuck with me forever. But I really appreciate you tuning in. If you did, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. Bye, everybody.